You saw what it said there at the beginning. It said, while our economy is struggling and the United States is grappling with a credit downgrade, the S&P is actually painting a rosier fiscal picture for some states like Ohio and Florida. This past hour, we had the governor of Florida. Well, now it's Ohio's turn. Joining us from Columbus, Ohio, we've got John Kasich. Good morning to you, John.
Good morning, Steve.
Okay, so while the U.S. credit got downgraded, Florida and Ohio got upgraded from negative to stable. What is it you are doing that S&P's going, yeah, that makes sense to us?
We're actually dealing with our problems out here, Steve. We had an $8 billion structural deficit. And my partners in the legislature and I looked it square in the eye, and we began to bring about major reform. And we didn't let politics be the order of the day. And as a result, our credit is now improved, which sends a signal not just to the citizens here, but to businesses in our state and businesses around the country that Ohio is open for business. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're creating jobs. And since the beginning of the year, we've created a net increase of 45,000 jobs. Our unemployment has ticked up because we're not creating as many jobs as we need. But the fact is we are net up in job creation, and we really are working aggressively to improve those numbers. So, Steve, they said it couldn't be done. We did it by killing the death tax, keeping our income tax cut in place, and reforming every single piece of the government operations here in Ohio. Eliminated our structural deficit. We're in balance. We have money in our rainy day fund, and you know, we're on the right track.
It sounds like it. Now, Governor, just a moment ago, Brian was reading that story about Warren Buffett having a fundraiser here in New York. He has now famously said that rich guys like him, they should raise the taxes on him. He should be paying more. But one of the things that S&P said, you were able to close an $8 billion deficit by not raising taxes. There are a lot of people in Washington who go, you know what, we've really cut this thing to the bone. Let's just jack up taxes. But you, I'm sure, would say that won't work.
Well, we cut taxes out here, Steve, and the reason why we did is because Ohio's lost more jobs than every other state in America, except for Michigan and California over the last 10 years. And if we were to raise our taxes, we would become less competitive. So we kept the income tax cut we received in January, did not raise that, actually killed the death tax and instituted a credit for people who invest in small businesses being the engine of job creation. Right. Look, Steve, what it gets down to is you look at government, you put politics aside, you figure out how to design a better product, you reduce your costs, you reduce your regulation, you reduce your taxes, and you provide incentives for job creation. That's what it's about. Everybody in America is saying, where are the jobs?
Right.
The jobs aren't there. We're overregulating, overtaxing, overspending. They got it wrong in Washington. Steve, when I was there in '97, we also balanced the federal budget, reduced capital gains taxes, and we had tremendous growth. And so do the right thing. Now, in the fall, we face a referendum. We have asked public employees to pay 10% of the cost of their guaranteed pension and 15% of the cost of their health care. Almost everyone in Ohio has sacrificed. The leadership of those public employees unions don't want to pay anything. And so we're going to have a big battle in the fall. And the fact is it's not fair for private sector people to pay for their health care and their 401k and also turn around and pay for a public employee that pays little or nothing for their pension or for their health care.
Just a couple of weeks ago, Governor, we had Scott Walker on, the governor of the great state of Wisconsin, and he was talking about how many jobs they have been able to create in Wisconsin since that state did away with the collective bargaining rights for state employees. So you're talking about how you're going to have this battle brewing there in your state. You know, the long knives are going to come out after you because there are a lot of very powerful interests that would like to see that gravy train continue.
Well, look, the long knives have been after me most of my career. I don't worry about that. What I worry about is having an environment in Ohio where people can get work and people can get jobs. We are not doing away with anybody's collective bargaining rights. What we're saying is you can negotiate on working conditions and on your pay. But when it comes to health care and a guaranteed pension means you get what's promised to you regardless of what's happened with the economy. You know, what we're saying is you got to pay 10% of that. And think about the people out there that that have a
Sure.
401k that gets battered, or people that don't have very strong health care. They're paying a lot for that. They shouldn't be paying twice, plain and simple. And we also want to have our local communities in a position to control their costs so they don't have to drive taxes up and drive jobs away.
Well, there you go. Speaking of jobs, he's currently the governor. He used to be a congressman. Once upon a time, he worked here at the Fox News Channel. John Kasich joining us today from Columbus.
Good to be with you, Steve.
John, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.